on a sunny and warm Tuesday morning. Welcome on in. It is Adam the Bull in the bullpen. Dustin not with me today. He's out and about. Got some hijinks going on. I don't know what he's doing right now. I forgot. He's doing some sort of meeting or some stuff. He couldn't be with us today. He'll rejoin me next week. Zach Jackson will be on with me Thursday morning. So we'll continue to dive into the mess that is the Browns throughout the week. Also today, something that's not a mess. That was for much of the year, the Guardians. We'll talk about the Guardians later in the show as they get set to play what is a must-win series. And if you want to somehow pull off one of the all-time miracles and win your division, it's a must-win sweep. We'll get to that later. But we begin, obviously, with the Browns and everything that's surrounding them. The Browns, of course, 0-2 to start the season. Not a big shocker. And as angry as I was and you all were Sunday, the truth is the offense has been about what I thought it would be, and the defense has been better. So even though I stand by everything I said on Sunday, the lack of accountability, the fact that nobody gets a pass in my mind. They may ultimately get a pass from Jimmy. In my mind, nobody gets a pass. That doesn't really mean anything. There's nothing I can do. I can't fire anybody. I don't believe it's been too many years of bad football with this group. And I know, and obviously they've had their moments. They've gone to the playoffs twice. And you can say, well, that's way better than any other group. It's also they've been here way longer than any group. They've also had, they came in set up for in a good situation with draft picks and some hits in the draft in the previous couple of years and a lot of cap space, and they've done nothing with it. The team's gone backwards. So I don't take that away. That's not going away. There's no pass for me. I'm not just going to say it's okay. This year doesn't matter. I'm not going to say that every week, especially when they step on their own what, like they did last week with the special teams blunders and the turnovers, week one with the kicks. And they're wasting good efforts by the defense. It feels weird, and I said this Sunday, to say the defense played well when the other team scored 41 points, but the defense played well. So far, the defense has played well, played much better. I mean, you've faced two of the best offensive teams in the league, and the defense really hasn't given up that much to either of them. Now, obviously, the Ravens scored many more points than the Bengals did, and a lot of that was because of they took advantage of turnovers, and the Ravens moved the ball better than the Bengals did, especially in the second half. But still, the defense has done enough. The defense has done their job. The other two units in this team are absolutely, look at that. That's a little misleading. There was some garbage time, at the end of the Ravens game, but still. It's eye-popping there. It's crazy. You've outgained your opponents by 300 yards, 70-something yards, 60-something yards in two games, and you're 0-2. That's what happens when you get the Browns. The Browns have lost a turnover battle in 9 straight games. They haven't scored more than 20 points in 7 straight games. You have all these crazy we've been doing this for years. Like all these historic things. It's always the Browns hitting these ridiculously bad stretches of this. They've gone this amount of time without winning the division. This amount of time without finishing winning a playoff game. This amount of time between playoff games. It's like on and on. Every bad thing in that group, there's always a Browns involvement. And the only thing that makes you hope, the only thing that gives you hope of the organization heading in the right direction is that early returns on The top 4 picks in the 2025 draft are extremely positive. Couldn't feel better. I don't think I could feel better about the first 4 picks in this draft than I do right now. And that doesn't mean that any or all of them are going to be great players. It just means that for now, myself, and I'm sure most of you, if not all of you, have to be feeling pretty positive about where the Browns are at in terms of the rookies they drafted. The first 4 picks especially. Obviously, we haven't seen much of Dylan Gabriel. He just played at the end of the last game. We haven't seen Shedeur Sanders. Even Dylan Sampson, what we've seen of him, later pick. Good. So that's the hope. That's the one. That's really the only thing that Andrew Berry can hang his hat on, because before this year, his drafts were shit. Most of it, contrary to popular belief, most of his trades haven't been very good. People love to give him, big thumbs up for trading useless players for 5th-round picks. I don't give a rat's ass, especially when until this year, all those picks have been wasted. Andrew Berry's done a terrible job as the GM of the Browns. Until it appears this year in the draft. Will that be enough to keep his job? It probably will be, because it seems like they want to just run it back next year no matter what happens. Should it be enough for him to keep his job? Get back to me at the end of the season. I'll tell you what I think. Let's see how those guys progress, and let's see how this team progresses as the season goes along. But you want to hold on to that positive. You want to hang on to it, because it's really the only thing you got. Because there's so many fundamental flaws in this franchise. Sounds like a tongue twister, but I don't trust the owner. I don't trust the GM. I'm lukewarm on the coach at best at this point, even though I was high on him in the past. There's nothing in this organization that you can be overly confident in. There's no quarterback to hang your hat on. And I was talking about this a little yesterday on UCSS. The Browns, if you think about we've all been talking about 2026, right? So let's think about next year for a minute. For next year, how many sure thing starters do the Browns have on offense? There's only one that's not a rookie. There's only one that's not a rookie now. And that's Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy will be a starter next year, right? I think it's safe to say that Harold Fannin and Quinshon Judkins will be starters. You never know. Injuries happen. Maybe they're not as good as we think they are. I would say through 2 games, I'm feeling very confident those guys are at least good NFL players. Probably, probably jumping too fast, but I've already seen enough. Makes me think I already thought those guys were going to be good coming in, especially Judkins. But Fannon's been so impressive. And again, there's been guys who've gotten off to good starts and just gone nowhere, and you never know. But all right, but I'm going to have some confidence there, right? So Fannin, I'm going to say, is going to be the starting tight end next year. Judkins is the starting tailback, and Jerry Jeudy is one of the starting receivers. What else? I don't know that you have any other starters on this roster. DeJuan Jones has looked terrible. I think he'll probably be a starter next year if he's healthy. I'm not sure it's going to be at left tackle. They may need to move him back to the right side. He's been absolutely dreadful the first 2 games. It's early. He just switched positions. I think there's a decent chance he's a starter next year, but I'm more confident that rookies Quinshon Judkins and Harold Fannin are starters before DeJuan Jones. But he would be next, right? He'd be next. That he's likely to be a starter. The left guard's probably going to retire, especially if they're terrible again this year. I can't see Joel coming back next year. Pocic was lousy last year. He's off to a bad start. He's in his 30s now, and he's a free agent. He's not going to be back, most likely. Wyatt Teller at right guard. He's a free agent at the end of the year. He could be back. I think the Browns have no backups. Like, you have no good offensive linemen on the bench. Zinter's a total bust. I would re-sign Wyatt Teller, but if Bitonio retires, maybe Wyatt Teller wants to go somewhere else. I don't know. I mean, I have no idea. He might be happy to stay here. He probably would be happy to stay here, but I don't know that. Right tackle, Conklin's, dealing with an injury again. He's dealt with a lot of them. He's getting old, and he's a free agent. You have no other wide receivers that are a sure thing. David Njoku's a free agent in terms of a second, another tight end. I think, you have to, and obviously the biggest hole at quarterback where you have two rookies now. One is going to get it. Dylan Gabriel's going to get a chance to play here soon. We'll talk about more about that in a minute, but he's going to get a chance to play soon. And I don't know if Shedeur Sanders is going to get a chance to play. I think he will at some point this year, but that's just I'm not basing that on any information I have beyond the fact that the Browns routinely use 3 or 4 or more quarterbacks in a season. So I assume he'll play at some point. He should play at some point. The only way to me that Shedeur Sanders should not play this year is if Dylan Gabriel, when he gets his opportunity, is sensational. If he's sensational and the team starts winning games because he's great, then I'm not playing Shedeur Sanders. Why would I do that? I got a quarterback playing great who's a rookie. But I'm not expecting that to happen. And if that's to me the only way I would not use Shedeur Sanders this year. And that's probably not likely. So I think he should play, and I think he probably will at some point this season. But, between quarterback, wide receiver, and offensive line, those 3 positions, the Browns are by far the worst in the league. And even if you want to say, New Orleans or whatever, 1 or 2 other teams are right there with them, it's not because the Browns are, it's just they're all pathetic and so far away. You really can't be in worse shape in those 3 spots than the Browns are. I mean, Jerry Jeudy, at least for next year, is the only starting I shouldn't say that. Wyatt Teller and Bitonio still are, but, they're free agents, and one's going to probably retire. But, maybe in a couple of years we'll look back at this draft class with Fannin and Judkins and Sampson and Schlesinger and Graham, and we'll look back at this was the start. We were all pissed, wanted everybody fired. Maybe this was the start of the turnaround. But that's only going to happen if they have the ability to find that franchise quarterback, whether it's guys currently on the roster or not, and to fix this offensive line, because the Browns have not shouldn't say they haven't addressed it. They have addressed it poorly. And outside of maybe DeJuan Jones, it looks like everybody they've drafted recently at the position's been awful and is not a starting caliber player. In terms of the quarterback situation, I said it Sunday in the heat of the moment that I thought they should play Dylan Gabriel this week. I'll say it again here on Tuesday, not heat of the moment, that Dylan Gabriel should be the starter, in my opinion. This nonsense about, we don't want to throw him in against the Packers. It's the NFL, man. Most teams you're going to play are tough. I know the Packers are good. Let's see what he's got. What do we got to protect him for? He's a 3rd-round pick. If Dylan Gabriel can't handle failure early in his career, if he fails, if he can't handle that, then he was never going to be successful. I would expect failure. If Dylan Gabriel started against the Packers, I would expect him not to play well. I wouldn't kill him for that because it's his first game against a tough opponent. I'd factor that in, as everybody should. I'm sure everybody would be calm, cool, and collected about it. I will, though. But let's go. But they're not going to do it. They're going to run Joe's. I love Joe. I don't mean to hate on Joe. He's had a great career, great guy, great player. The Hall of very good. But his time has passed. Every time it's just painful watching him out there. He's not even the player he was 2 years ago, which wasn't that great. Let's get some comments from the fans here. Let's see. I'll save the Guardian stuff for a second. Gary says, in the final minute of the Texans-Bucks game last night, Nick Chubb scores a touchdown to put the Texans ahead, and then Baker Mayfield engineers a game-winning touchdown drive for the Bucks. A Browns fan delight. That was painful. Hey, listen. I never thought Baker. When the Browns first drafted Baker, I was fine with the pick. I didn't love Baker. I didn't hate Baker coming out of college. I think I remember saying I think he's a good quarterback. Fine, nothing special. And obviously, he had his moments where he looked very good with the Browns, and he had a lot of moments where he looked really bad with the Browns. It was a mixed bag. And my biggest concern with him was I felt like he was too sensitive as a quarterback. You can't be that. And the turnovers were terrible early in his career. He and Jared Goff were the worst turning the ball over. And there was not enough upside at the time, I thought, to overcome the downside. And then he left. He goes to Carolina. He bounces around. His last year here, he was terrible. His first year gone was terrible. And then it starts to feel like, is Baker even going to play anymore? And obviously, since going to Tampa Bay, he's been very, very good, and he's frankly keeps getting better. I did not think Baker would ever be this good. I got to give him credit. I crapped on the guy, and he's shut me and everybody else up. He's doing his thing now. We'll see, what he does in the long term. Will he have success in the postseason? And I still believe, and maybe this is me just making an excuse, but I think, and I bet you Baker would say this, that he never would have had the success if he stayed here, because those 2 years of crap, he clearly got humbled. He clearly matured. He's a different person now. Obviously, I don't know him personally, but it's clear as day, that he is a different person than he was here in Cleveland. And that growth and maturity, you got to give him a lot of credit. And so I was wrong. I was wrong about Baker. Guy's a good NFL quarterback. And maybe, and he may, my concern is he's never going to be good enough to win with because of the turnovers. And he's really cut that down the last 2 years. And now the good outweighs the bad by a good deal. And sadly for the Browns, Baker may be moving into that class of quarterbacks that, he's not going to put the team on his back if the team's not that good. He's not, he's never going to be in a category with Lamar and Josh Allen, right? Is that Mahomes? He's not going to be in that category ever. But the question of, can he get to that second group of quarterbacks where you can win if the team's really good around them? You could win deep into the playoffs, maybe even the Super Bowl. I'll be honest, even deep into last year, I was like, I still don't think he's that guy. But the way he played down the stretch last year and the way he's played so far this year, we'll see. He's got a lot to prove in the playoffs, as do most of the quarterbacks in the NFL. But I got to say, I think he's a tier 2 quarterback. I do. I'd put him on the – I don't want to say I put him on the back end of tier 2 because it doesn't matter. Whether he's again, he's somewhere between probably the 7th and 10th best quarterback in the league. And you I think with a good team, you can win that way. And I'm not going to – it is what it is. I scream bloody murder about it, and you win some, you lose some. It sucks that it didn't happen here. And you got to give him credit. The guy's been really, really good. What else can you say? I'm not gonna come up with some bogus argument to try to spin what he's done there in a negative light. I don't play those games. He's been tremendous. Good for him. Let's see. Nathan says, rest in peace, Robert Redford. Yeah, I heard about that this morning. Speaking of baseball, because I'm going to switch gears to baseball in a minute. Of course, Robert Redford was in The Natural, and he's been in so many things. He was 89 years old. He had just turned 89 in August. Great actor. So condolences to his family. Not that they're listening, but that's sad. Let's see what else we got. Will Y Productions. Baker would have never been the quarterback he is now in Cleveland. The Browns can't develop quarterbacks for shit. I mean, yeah, you could put some of that on the Browns. I think a lot of it is on Baker. He was immature when he was here. There's no doubt about it. And he's grown up. I think that's a big part of it. Gary says 41 quarterbacks since 99. Shador will be 42 when he plays. Jim, they need a quarterback. Until they get that, nothing else matters. Pretty much true. Nathan, Jimmy and D. Haslam should never get a pass for the exponential shit show their ownership of our beloved Cleveland Browns has been since 2012. And the previous owner sucked too. How the hell do our Browns hold Derrick Henry to 22 yards rushing and manage to lose? It's hard to believe. Gary, how are they beating Green Bay? They're not. I mean, it's football. You never know. But, I mean, the Browns are, what do we got them at? I think they're like a 9-point dog at home. Or 8. I can't remember now. But let me take a look. It's 8. I mean, the Browns are an 8-point home dog. Oh, my gosh. That's a lot. Nathan, Quinshon Judkins looked good on Sunday in Baltimore. Hopefully Quinshon continues to work hard in practice, keeps progressing on the field. Andrew Berry needs to be relieved of his duties as the GM of the Browns at the end of the season, no matter what. DeJuan Jones should be used as a fullback in short yardage, especially inside the 5. Yeah, let him do the tush-push. Chutufu says, makes me sad we are semi-cooked already. Like, even though you knew it was still ass. Also, Genty looks like Trent Richardson. That's not fair. Genty's played 2 games, and they don't have a very good offensive line. Halim says, it's week 2. Can we please stop talking about next year? Let's find something we can talk about for this year. The rookies. That's what we can talk about. I'm excited watching these rookies. It's the reason I want to watch the Browns. I want to see Harold Fadden have a big game. I want to see Quinshon Judkins have a big game. I want to see Graham and Schlesinger make plays. Dylan Sampson make plays. Gary says, wonder at what point they'll make the change at quarterback. I would do it now. Maybe they do it for the England game. Minnesota's now, their quarterback's hurt. They're not playing very well. Maybe they'll do it for that game. Jerry, Giants and Browns are where quarterbacks go to die. You can't say that about the Giants. Well, for the Browns, it's been longer. But, yeah, I guess it's been a while. But it's not that long since they had Eli Manning. The last Browns quarterback to be successful over a good period of time was Bernie. And as much as, let's see, Nathan, the Browns had a chance to draft Josh Allen and passed on him. Yes, they did. And Lamar Jackson. Jerry says play all the rookies now. Rich B. Dylan Gabriel might be better for this O-line as a lefty with Conklin Lucas protecting his blind side instead of DeJuan. Some truth to that. All right, let's switch gears, talk some Guardians. Start of a big, big series tonight. In fact, in the Guardians' final 13 games, they will play 6 of the 13 against the Detroit Tigers. And the Guardians are playing really well. They basically ended the Rays season. They ended the Royals season. They've won 9 of their last 10. This series is in Detroit. Obviously, that's a big-time challenge. They know that the Guardians are nipping at their heels. The fact that they're only 6.5 out is amazing. Guardians have to sweep, though. And the Guardians, obviously they have to win all 6 against Detroit to have any remote hope of winning the division. But just to make the wild card, you got 13 games left. 9 are against Detroit and Texas. You got the 4 against Minnesota, but those are on the road. So, and the Tigers got their 3 best pitchers going in this series. Mize, Flaherty, and, of course, Skubal is going to pitch, even though he left his last game early. Skubal and Gavin Williams on Thursday afternoon. That's a great one. But the Guardians, the Tigers have the edge in all 3 pitching matchups. Mize against Cantillo, Flaherty against Allen, and Skubal against Williams. Tigers have the edge. It's that simple. And you're going to face Scooble again next week in Cleveland. So not only do you have to sweep the Tigers, you're going to have to beat Scooble twice, or at least get them out of the game and try to beat the Pen. It's not going to be easy. It's unlikely to happen. In terms of making the wild card for the Guardians, that's certainly more doable. Still very tough. Guardians lost a game in the wild card yesterday. They didn't play. They lost a half a game because the Astros beat the Rangers. So the Guardians are now tied with the Rangers as the first team out of the wild card. Both teams are 3 games out. The Guardians are ahead in the loss column. The Rangers have played 2 more games. But the Guardians are 3 back of Houston for the final wild card, 3.5 back of Boston for the second wild card, and actually 4.5 back of the Yankees for the top wild card. It's all pretty close right now. But 3 games make up. Now, it's only 2 in the loss column with the Astros because the Astros have played. The Guardians have a doubleheader. I think the Guardians are the only team that has 13 games left in 13 days. They're playing, a doubleheader, as we said. But they're going to have to. I mean, the Guardians are going to have to go 10-3 probably to make the playoffs, and even that might not be good enough. They've won 9. They're going to have to essentially. They're 9-1 in their last 10. So I think they're going to have to go 19-4 to end the season. And that, even if they do that, which is going to be very tough, that might not be good enough. But I do like that they've showed a lot of grit and fight and toughness and heart here down the stretch. They are not likely to finish under 500, which is good. So there are some positives down the stretch. But this franchise has got a lot of work because the lineup's terrible, and it has to be addressed in a serious manner this offseason. A very serious manner. I hope they will do it. I'm not overly confident, but they should, and they owe it to the fans, and they owe it to Jose Ramirez. All right, folks, thanks for joining me today. Appreciate you all. Love you all. If you haven't done so already, please hit the subscribe button. I'll be on the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show today, and I'll be here in the bullpen on Thursday morning with Zach Jackson, and that's it for me this week. And I'll have Bet Rivers Pro Football Weekly with Brandon Stokely, which will be out Friday morning. But a little bit of a short week for me. I'm going away for a few days for a family occasion. Got some friends staying at my house, so hopefully they don't burn the house down. Anyway, thanks everybody for joining me. I love you all. Appreciate it. Appreciate you all. Again, hit this. I don't know why I'm saying y'all. Please hit the subscribe button. Thanks to Z for producing today. Had to do the job solo as Alex had no power at his house. So talk to you all later right here in the bullpen with Adam the Bull, brought to you by Bet Rivers. See you, everybody.